All right, I'm going to show you guys quickly how I made my version of Geralt of Rivia from Witcher in the Dragon's Dogma 2 character creator. So let's jump into the customization. First off, I'll show you guys the head I'm using. For the base head, I'm using base head number 24. So just go ahead and select that one to start making your adjustments. And then for skin, set it to 1259 for the skin color. Wrinkles I got at 72 and skin sheen at 25. That's going to set this up so you'll have a better idea of what this is actually going to look like. Okay, so under the body sliders, for height we're at 199, torso length we're at -80, so he's got a taller upper body. For the muscle style, I went with 26 here. You can obviously change this around to whatever you want. Muscle strength, I set it full. Trap size 35, upper body mass 75, lower body mass 10 whatever. Upper body size I set to -98 so that he doesn't look so bulgy in the stomach. Lower body size I also reduced down some because I don't think Geralt, at least from my opinion, should have like super thick legs. It just doesn't seem to fit his character that well. For head size is at 0, head length is at 17, head width is at 0, head depth is at 40, face height -86, neck length 17, neck thickness 62. For upper body, shoulder width we're at 33, shoulder size -62, chest thickness 20, chest size 70, torso width -9, torso depth 60, arm length -4, arm size 6, upper arm thickness 13, and forearm thickness -6. For the lower body, I lowered his waist down, so his waist width is down to -50. His waist size is at -100. His rear size all the way up at 98. Leg size overall 17. Thigh size -11. Calf size, I raised his calves up because I think like he'd have stronger calves. Obviously, tweak these to however you want. For posture, movement style I have at -9. I have the elbow angle at 31, the knee angle at 26. And the posture at 34 to keep him up in that chattish position. Moving on over here, we already went over head and skin. We're going to look at the brow now. So for the brow height, we're at -88. For brow spacing, we're at 32. For the brow depth overall, 28. The inner brow depth 46 and the outer brow depth 100. The brow angle we have at -100 to give him that very distinct angry eye look. You see if you bring this the other way now, he's like, puppy eyes. But no, that ain't Geralt. He's at -99, -100, somewhere around that region. Brow bend, he's at -85 for that one. All right, for the eyes, I've got the eye width, or the eye height at -14th, the width at 55. The depth at -8 to bring them just a little sunken back. The eye size I've got at 55 and the angle at -18. I've added a bunch of squint in. The base head that you're using initially for this seems to have one eye already kind of squinting more than the other. So that's why one eye, the right eye is only at 73 while the left eye is at 90. And I've got him squinting because he always has that kind of squint look. He doesn't have bright, big, wide eyes. So for the nose, we're at 40 length, 73 width on the bridge width, and 28 on the height. For the bump overall, we're at 64 and 70 on the upper, 58 on the lower. It gives them this very distinct, strong nose here. You obviously change this if you feel like this isn't right. Nostril height, I have at 30, and the size at 30, and the height at 15, with the width at -1. For the tip depth, we have it at 66. And the angle at -61, and the sharpness set to 9. I thought this gave him a more distinct look that fit as closely as I could get to what he looked like. For the ears, overall, these are pretty close to what our default, I believe, although I did increase the openness, or change the openness to -22 to have him brought out just a little bit more from his hair so you could see him a little bit. And I think I changed the angle as well to -44 from the defaults. And then obviously the size is at 24 with everything else at 0. For the cheeks, for the cheek neck thickness, set it overall to -30. Cheek bulge, -37. Neck fat, -25. For the cheek height, we're at 24. And the cheek width, we're at 18. With the depth at -18. For the mouth, Mouth height I have set to -30 with the width at 50. Protrusion of 0. The corners are at -80. The lip thickness, obviously, if you want to give him a more of a smirky look, you could raise this up, but I don't think that matches him. Lip thickness I have at -40, and then lower lip is just default. The jaw and chin. For the jaw definition, we're at 47, and for the width, we're at 88. Jaw position 22. Jaw protrusion, -43. The chin height is at 12. The chin width is at -6. Protrusion at 60, and the sharpness at 4. For the hairstyle, we are using hairstyle 44. You could also use something like 45. You could change it to something like, I think there's another one up here somewhere that fit too. But I like how 44 looks. It's got the single braid in the back, or the braids coming from the side to tuck in here. And I like how his stray hairs are coming over his face on this one. For the root color, we're at 14 with the tip color at 15, just to give a slight variance. The blend, 59. The sheen and sheen don't matter that much, but we're at 33 and 15. For the eyebrows, we went with shape number 8. If you actually look at some close imagery of him, he does have pretty thick, dark eyebrows. So for color, we're at 3, and the thickness we've got at about 67. Unfortunately, we can't speckle in any grays on the eyebrows, so... Facial hair, I went with 2. 8 also looks okay. If you're going to go with 8, you might want to go a little bit darker on it, but I think 2 looks much better just because it spreads it in more, and his hairs aren't so super thick looking. The root color 12 and the tip color 14. I have the blend set to 94 with the sheens obviously don't matter once again that much, but 48 and 15 for the sheens. For body hair, if you want, go ahead, you can throw some body hair on. Type number 4 I think would fit best, but we've got it pretty much non-existent here, so you can ignore body hair. For the eyes, we've got the eyes set up as number 2 style. For the iris, we're at 137, which is the brighter inside. The iris secondary is 87, which is the outer orange. And then the iris tertiary, which is the outer ring, we have set to 87 as well. The sclera, which is the white of the eyes, set to 107. I've got his iris size set to -6, and his pupil size set to -46. Eyelashes, type 1, 1, 1, 0, 40, 18. You could change these, I don't think they matter that much. For the eyeshadow, we've got it set to number 2, using eyeshadow color number 24 and color number 42. The eyeshadow intensity set to 20, the coverage set to 100, the opacity set to 81, and the sheen set to 50. This is kind of giving him that kind of like dark look underneath and above his eyes a little bit. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, I don't think the eyeshadow really comes into... No, it does. My bad. Eyeliner we have set to number 5 with a number 2, and this is just going to add even more darkness in the areas around his eyes to kind of accentuate that. So we're at 69 coverage, 44 opacity, and 33 sheen for that. Freckles we have off. For the cheeks, we have that turned off. The lips, I've pretty much just lowered everything down to 0. The teeth, left normal. Now, for the tattoos and markings. No tattoos, but I did get down to the body scars. So body scar, and let me turn the light here. Body scar number 1 is actually going to be this one over his eye right here, his left eye. It's going to be number 11 with a 54 vertical position, a 7 horizontal, 8 rotation, 9 overall scale, 1 tiling, 95 opacity, intensity set to 100. You can change this if you want it to be not looking as grungy and deep. And then the sheen, obviously, if you want it less glossy, you can lower that. But I like the sheen somewhere up around 70. For the second scar, which is the one on over his other eye, we're using number 5, vertical position 60, -7 for the horizontal. For the rotation, we're at -17. For the overall scale, we're at 3 on the vertical, and I'm at 2 at horizontal. Once again, we're just at 1 tiling. opacity 100, intensity is raised up to 67, and the sheen is at 72. For the right arm scars, I tried to emulate some of the scars that are from some screenshots of the Witcher 3 playthrough. So let me just go ahead and change the lighting here real quick so you can see this better. This first scar is going to be the one on his right arm forearm. So this is scar number 3 with the vertical position of -32, horizontal of 32, rotation -11, overall at 19. The vertical's at 25 and the horizontal's at 15. One tiling, I've increased the opacity up, got the intensity at 43 for this one, and the sheen at 68. This next scar is going to be the one I put up on his shoulder. This one's number 12. Vertical position 63, 7 on horizontal, 48 rotation, 14 for the scale, 1 for tiling, 100 opacity. The intensity on this one I have actually dropped down to 0, and then the sheen I have at 50. For his left arm, we've changed things up a little bit again. So this first scar is going to be down here on the outside of his forearm. It's got a negative position of 42, a horizontal of 3, a rotation of -7, overall scale of 15, the tiling's at 1, opacity is at 84, intensity 49, and sheen 55. And then I've also gone and given him this kind of, I think it's supposed to be like some sort of burn marking or something along that lines. Obviously something very fleshy that's happened here. That's going to be at number, why won't this slide down here? There we go. That's going to be at number 14. I went with a vertical position 39, -4 for horizontal, overall scale of 25, the vertical tiling of 1, horizontal of 1, opacity at 100, intensity at 37, and the sheen at 50. And then the last change that we have in here, I didn't give him any leg scars. I've got dirt turned on. Obviously, if you just want a full clean look for that, turn it off. I kind of like the fact that he's got a little bit of dirt on him, right? He's out there, he's fighting in the world. So we've got dirt type number 3. The coverage is at 68 and the opacity is lowered down to 15. Obviously, if you want to make him look even dirty, you can raise that. But I think something pretty low, especially since it brings dirt onto his face. I think something low is fine. We don't need to make him look like he's covered in mud. And that's it. That's all of the settings that I have for my Geralt of Rivia on Dragon's Dogma 2 character creator. So hopefully you guys found this useful. Hopefully you like this version. I think it's pretty close to what he looks like, for what you can do with these sliders. So yeah, give it a shot. Make whatever tweaks you guys want to, and I will see you guys next time. I'm out. Deuces.